Powered by MPB, this is Chalkboard Chat, an MPB Education Podcast, hosted by Germaine Flood and Tara Wren. To hear this episode and more, visit education.mpbonline.org or download the MPB Public Media app to listen on your iPhone or Android device.
Welcome to Chalkboard Chat. Germaine Flood, and this is our Teacher Appreciation 2022 episode. Right now, we are going to show our appreciation to Miss Pamela Woodard. She's the Simpson Central School Cyber Foundations and Keystone teacher, and she is an 18-year teaching veteran. I'd like to welcome her to the chat right now, Miss Pamela Woodard. Welcome to Chalkboard Chat.
Yay! Hello!
It is so good having you on with us here today. I just want to jump right off into you to show why you're the teacher that we appreciate here on our podcast show. So just to get started, Simpson Central School, how much do you love the school that you work at?
Yes, I am a diehard Simpson Central fan. I love my students. I love our school. I love our culture. I am that teacher. When we have dress up days, I'm dressed up. You know, I would normally have on my gold and black and white. I am 100% a Tiger fan here with our Simpson Central School and our students. We have the best students in Simpson County School District as well as Mississippi as a whole. We have the best students, the brightest right here at Simpson Central.
Yes, and I love to hear that. Two of our very own MPB Student Council members, Miss Kaylin Woodard and Corinne Allen, they are also students at Simpson Central School. So yes. Tell me about them as students in one of your classes, because I hear that they attend your class as well.
Yes, they do. They are in my Keystone class. They're 8th grade students. They are top of the class, most athletic. Kaylin was Miss SCS. And so these are like the brightest students. Korean, they're very talented. Their academic scores are the top scores in their class. They are well-rounded and just great students. We love and appreciate them in our class. We couldn't ask for better students.
We do so as well here when it comes down to them and the MPB Student Council and the MPB Student Council podcast. They are just two of my bright shining stars on there, yes, in addition to all of the council members. But Kaylin, whenever I ask her to do something, she's right on it. Corinne is the same way. So I'm just glad I'm actually able to talk to somebody who's touched
they
those
are part of our student council here at SCS, and they do a fantastic job.
Good stuff. Now, I know, of course, you know, me looking in on it, I once was a high school student, and I know you were too. We all had to go through it. So I want to start maybe from there and maybe the journey that you took from high school into teaching and what led you to become a teacher.
Well, when I was in high school, I had a teacher. Her name was Miss Sheila Graves at Dexter High School, and she was the business teacher. And I appreciated her class. I was a member of Future Business Leaders of America, FBLA, and I competed in that. And it was through that class that I just developed a love for all things in the business world, business education. And I hadn't ever wanted to be anything other than a teacher. That has always been my goal, to be a teacher. When I went to college, that was my major. I stuck with it. And for the last 18 years, that's what I've done. And my concentration has been business education. I started out with JPS, and I taught entrepreneurship, business law, desktop publishing, accounting. I taught those classes because when I was in high school, those were the classes that I loved. When I came to Simpson County School District, I started in business education there as well. And so I've always done workforce training classes at the technical center. It used to be a class called co-op, and the students would work as well as attend classes. So I would do that, and I would go to their jobs. I would be there and mentor them. And there at Simpson County Technical Center, I was the FBLA advisor. And so I've now been the FBLA advisor at both schools, Simpson Central and at the Technical Center. And I love FBLA. My students this year, middle level, we competed at our district competition, and I have 19 students, and 16 out of the 19 students placed in their competition, in their events. And so I'm just excited about that. We went on to our state competition at William Carey. And at William Carey, I think I had 5 students to place in our state competition. And one student, Parker Teasley, he advanced to our national competition. So he will be our first student to compete on a national level from Simpson Central and Future Business Leaders of America. And I am just over the moon excited about that. So I have a love for Cyber Foundations. I have a love for Keystone, because getting students to that next level is very important, especially for middle school students. You know, they're at that transitional age and they are in between elementary and high school, and just getting those foundational skills to them, getting them taught those life lessons, because that's the age when they're my friend and they're not my friend. And I like her, but I don't like her. And so that is just a real transitional time. And being a middle school teacher is not for the weak.
I have to say, you've done a pretty good job at it. Anytime you've brought what it is that you're passionate about, and you've helped to instill that same passion in your students. Mm-hmm. So I know that middle school, they're probably the most easy to mold because they're ready, you know, they're ready. In between, they're the in between. Mm-hmm. They're like, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to do it? I'll do it. So I think you've done good there. So I just love it. Now tell me a little bit about Cyber Foundations and Keystone. What is that there at Simpson Central School related to what it is that you do with it?
So our Cyber Foundation courses, they are taught to 7th grade students. And our curriculum, it includes teaching students about spreadsheets, about word processing, doing presentations, web design. And so our current unit is actually web design, and we have been studying HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And the students are really loving that, because it gives them the hands-on activities with developing a website and learning the basics and the foundational skills with presenting that. And so they are, as middle school students, they're really into gaming and they're really into social media. The part of Cyber Foundations that I particularly love, because just teaching them to be safe online, cyber safety. I'm real passionate about that, because our kids are exposed to way more than I was ever exposed to in online and social media, and just keeping that balance and just letting them know how to be safe, how to navigate the internet and how to navigate social media. I focus a lot on that. And so I am glad that digital citizenship is a big part of Cyber Foundations. And technology is ever changing. So just staying current and staying up on what I need to do in terms of technology, and I can give that to my students. And so Keystone is a career-based class, and it teaches foundations of knowing what career options are out there, knowing how to research different careers, knowing what's the next step, because sometimes we don't always focus on career and technical education, and letting students know that, hey, because some of them have already made up their minds that going to college is not something that I want to do. So there are other options out there if you want to be in that career and technical field, just getting your certifications in certain areas. So we bring that aspect and let students know what the next step is. We help them find that, help them explore, because they have dreams and aspirations, and that is a great class so they can know what is expected, know how much it costs to go to college, because they don't know what a bachelor's degree is, a master's degree is. And so we need to teach those things, and even getting a doctoral degree. So we cover all of that in my Keystone class. Then those students are 8th grade students, and they are the ones that are getting ready to transition to 9th grade. And so just having that foundation and knowing those skills is what we try to instill in them and try to, get them to teach them and get them to learn.
Right. You are literally a one-man band on that tip right there. So you've got some of that, the internet and the computer stuff, and then you've got the whole workforce development with them and trying to figure out what it is they want to do after they get out of high school, and even maybe after they get out of middle school. So
and one of the things that I let them know is, you don't have to make your mind up right now. We just want to expose you to this information. We want you to know where you can get the information that's needed. Just because we are researching being an engineer, if you change your mind, it's okay, because you have 4 years to make your mind up. But you need to have that knowledge and have that sense of knowing what is out there. And so that's one of the things that I try to let them know, because they said, I don't know, Miss Woodard, I hadn't made my mind up. I'm only 13. I said, well, it's okay, because really, really soon you're going to be 17 and 18. And we want to just let you know what your options are. You don't have to choose one yet, but you know what your options are.
Right. I love it. I love all of that. Now, when it comes down to you being a teacher at Simpson Central, now you told me you've been there for about 4 years. So you know what's been happening the past 2 years. I just want to know, how did you navigate the pandemic at Simpson Central School, and how did you fare now that we're kind of coming from underneath that umbrella a little bit?
The pandemic, it was hard for everyone, and it was hard for our students. The first thing was transitioning into our phase of technology with becoming a one-to-one school district, and all of our students now have a Chromebook that is assigned to them. So Google Classroom, and just getting the technology to the students and then teaching them how to use it appropriately. So that whole push was very, very beneficial for our students. And coming from a technology background, it made it easier for us to transition into that. So we did, in the very beginning, we did the hybrid, where they did classes. I think we had AB days. Some of the students came on Monday and Wednesday. The other students came on Tuesday and Thursday. And then the days that they weren't on campus, they used their Chromebooks to do, I think we didn't do Zoom. It was Google Meets. And so we use Google Meets to do that, and just having the assignments readily available. And here, I don't know if you know where Simpson County is, or if you know where Pinola is, but we don't have very good, it's a little bit kind of but Pinola, a little small area, we don't have very good internet reception here, and it's not readily available to all of our students. And so just making the adjustment to get that technology there to them where they can use it. We can get them a Chromebook, but if they have no internet, then they can't use the technology. So that shift, and students, they did great. However, they were away from their peers, and that aspect of it, we had to adjust. And so the use of the technology and them having that, like, 8 hours a day, as opposed to transitioning from pen and paper, pencil paper, that has sprung a whole new way of teaching that has, and hands-on and engaging the students. So now that they're back and we're coming out of that, so to speak, the pandemic, them being together and having the support of their peers, we as adults, we don't necessarily always see the importance of that. But when students, especially students who don't have siblings, when they are away from their peers and their friends, it's life-changing for them. So just being able to see them and being able to interact. I am the yearbook sponsor, and I am the one of the dance coaches here. and FBLA advisor here. And we have done so many activities this school year alone. I think just to incorporate that time of just getting kids back to socializing with each other. That is a very big part of middle school, elementary too. So our K6 students, just being around each other, that gives a student a sense of belonging. And that's important when it comes to them doing well in school academically.
I love that. I love your passion for it. I can hear it in your voice. I can just tell that you're that teacher that really cares about their students. And I just love that. And I also subscribe to the fact that you all should have pay raises for as much as you do. I mean, you're not only FBLA, you're dance instructor, you're teaching computer, you're teaching the internet,
Yes.
you become kind of that jack of all trade, that one umbrella where everything kind of falls underneath you. And I really do think, the pay needs to match exactly what it is that y'all are giving. And it's a lot. And so how do you feel about the new proposed pay raises as it relates to teachers across the state?
When it comes to wages, I think that in every profession, we need to have fair wages. And as a teacher that does so many things other than in the classroom, we are not compensated for all of the things that we do. And I am an advocate for a teacher pay raise. So many teachers often buy things for their classroom. They pay money for students to attend events. They go above and beyond and make the salary that we do get, they make it work for their family, their individual families, and they make that salary work for their students in class. There have been teachers that have gone above and beyond what is required. And we are here after school. I stay after school because there's not enough time in the day to actually prepare and do all the things that we need to do. We need a pay raise. We need a pay raise because you couldn't even imagine some of the things that teachers do for students outside of the classroom. Not even to mention doing the things that it takes to do the things that we need to do in the classroom. So come on, give us a pay raise.
I agree. I agree with that statement.
Let our pay raise match the pay raises that our legislator, their pay raises. Okay, let's be fair and let's match. let's do a price match like they used to do at Walmart. Now,
right.
But they used to
on Amazon. Okay. They do that
on
too.
Amazon. let's do a price match. Okay?
Right. I agree. Now, when it comes down to that one moment in your teaching career that lets you know this is why I do it, what was that moment or that incident that lets you know this is why I'm here?
Okay, I got 3. Okay.
Tell me.
Okay, we were doing an assignment and it's called the Compassion Project. And it talked about like just being aware of how we treat others. And it had some bullying stuff in there. It had just basically being kind. And one of my students sent me a message and said, "Thank you so much for giving this assignment to us because I appreciate it and I really enjoyed doing this because I learned a lot from this assignment." And one instance that I had, a lot of people, they don't like Excel. They don't like spreadsheets. A lot of adults don't like that.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
And that's one of our units. That's one of the skills that we teach, spreadsheet. And so when we were doing that unit, the kids were like, oh, Miss Woodard, this is great. This is great. This is great. Because I was going through it because I love Excel. I love Excel.
Right.
I have all kind of Excels. My children will tell you I am a list person and I'm a budget person. I love a good spreadsheet. And so, but when we were going through those assignments, they really enjoyed those assignments. And my last one, and that's the unit we're working on now, that's HTML. And we're doing web designs. And they're like, oh, this is so cool. This is so cool, because they're doing the practices and they're doing CSS. They're adding in the style. They're doing all of those things, the font colors, and they are just having a good time doing that. So those are my 3 examples. And I was
love
like,
it.
This is why I like doing this.
And because you had 3, I know that's why. You love doing what you do.
Yes, that was great. And we, as the sponsor for Yearbook, we get to host a lot of things. And we just had K4 prom for kindergarten through 4th grade. And those babies, they danced, they got dressed up, and they talked. The next Monday, I went and I asked, did you have a good time at the dance? They had a great time at the dance. So that's another thing that just, that I love about it.
I would love to be a teacher just so I could go to the K-4 prom.
The K-4 prom. They danced the night away. Well,
seriously? The afternoon.
They danced from 12 to 2.
Miss Woodard, you have got me tickled. Juice
They,
boxes and all.
Juice, and that's exactly what we had. Capri Sun. Yes, we did. Cupcakes and chicken bites. And they enjoyed it. They enjoyed it.
Love it. I love it. I love just your whole story. I love the passion for everything that you do. You have just been such a great interviewee this afternoon. I love you. Just love you so much. So my last question.
Yes, ma'am.
What advice would you give that future teacher to prepare them for this job?
I would say choose an area that you love, that you absolutely are passionate about, and that you think other students, the kids need to know. Okay, so I don't think that I could have done well in any other thing other than business education, because that's what I love. Oftentimes, teachers in today's society, back in the day, 18 years ago, when I became a teacher, it was like, oh my God, you're a teacher. That's so awesome. You were held in high esteem as a teacher. Today, you need a thicker skin to be a teacher. And I would say that there are kids out there that need what you have. And good people aren't going into the profession of being a teacher anymore just because of what we see in social media, what we see online. We need good teachers. And so I would encourage people, if you are a person who cares about the youth, if you care about education, to come into this profession, because we need you. We need good teachers. We need teachers who are here for the 25 years. Those are the teachers we need. We need people that can connect to youth. And so, because sometimes we are the only smiling faces that those students see. We are the only good morning. We are the only, you did a great job. We're the only ones sometimes. And so we need other people, other professionals to come to this career of being a teacher. You have to have the heart for it. In order to last, you have to have the heart. You have to love children. You have to love seeing that look on their face when they are excited. You have to love when they are disappointed and be in that comfort for them. And so, come on, we need you.
I love that. That is just such great advice that you gave, especially for somebody who's maybe even on the cusp of not knowing whether it is they do or don't. You've sold me. I'm gonna see where, if after this, I'm gonna see where I fit into the world of education and in school.
And volunteer at the school. There are so many positions that are needed because, like we were talking about earlier, the salary. And for some reason, we feel like we will be less than if we don't have that salary. I know that whatever my salary is, I'm going to make that salary work for my family as well as my students. And today, that's what it takes. And so surround yourself by a great team. We have our principal here is Dr. Woodard, and she is a great leader of our school. And I feel like Simpson Central, we have a great culture here. And on my hall, and I have to shout out my hall, I think we're the best hall in the school, 7th and 8th grade hall, okay? We are a great team. And so it's not all bad. It's not all bad. And sometimes what is highlighted are the bad things, and it scares people away from the profession. So
Right. Well, you have helped make that less scary for us all. Anybody who was thinking about it, you have helped to make that less scary. So I really do thank you for your time here.
Thank you.
I want to give you congratulations on a happy Teachers Appreciation Week. So I hope you get all the accolades and all the great words of encouragement that you deserve. So with your doing 18 years, I already know you're going to hit that 25 that you were talking about, those 25-year teachers. So I really do thank you for your time here on Chalkboard Chat. And to my audience, this has been Miss Pamela Woodard. She is one of the best Simpson Central School teachers out there. She teaches cyber foundations and Keystone at Simpson Central School, an 18-year veteran and a teacher that we appreciate here on Chalkboard Chat. And I'd like to again thank her so much for joining us on this chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. You have been listening to Chalkboard Chat. Class is now dismissed.
You've been listening to Chalkboard Chat, an MPB Education podcast. To hear this episode and more, visit education.mpbonline.org or download the MPB Public Media app to listen on your iPhone or Android device. This podcast is hosted with love by ACAST.